Imagine creating a brand new Minecraft survival series with two of your friends, only to realize that there is a virus slowly infecting your world with blocks and entities that should not exist. Well, that is exactly the case with this YouTube channel called Witherstorm, where a normal survival series turned into something that makes them regret even creating this world. So sit back and watch how every event unfolds, creating a bigger problem each time. Video 1 starts out like any ordinary series. The person recording the video goes by the name of Witherstorm345, but we'll just call him Wither. Wither doesn't have a microphone, so they type everything they think of in chat to us.
Hi guys, welcome back to a new series.
If you look at the top left corner, we can see that he is playing in the beta version 1.8.3. But wait, hold on. There's not even a version that was ever released besides beta 1.8 and 1.8.1 that were released in 2011. So how is this even possible? We don't really have anything to work with just as of right now, but be sure to keep that data in mind since it will become important in the future. Some time passes, our player is mining a tree, but then suddenly this happens.
Something hits me, but there's no monsters or mobs near the area.
He gets hit from what we know nothing, the music stops and he panics a bit before going back to playing the game like nothing happened. Wither then proceeds to build a house for himself while experiencing some weird bugs.
I can't place my plank here for some reason.
Crafting a bed and a furnace before ending the video and going to sleep. I don't think there's really anything extra to cover from this one video alone, besides the odd activity from the beginning, so let's head on to the second video titled Base Upgrade plus My Friend.
Hey guys, welcome back to the series. Today I'll be getting materials to upgrade my base, and you'll meet one of my friends.
About 30 seconds into this video, the same thing occurs 2 times actually that happened last time. Our player gets hit from unknown directions while yet again breaking down a tree.
Something hits me yet again while approaching a tree.
Soon enough, this is where we get this clip. The door of his house opened on its own. How do we know that? Because when you right click a door in Minecraft, your hand moves and indicates that you click the door. But in this case, that did not happen. He was also too far away to be able to actually open the door, because we can see his right click activate his shield. Wait, hold on, a shield? But how? The creator didn't mention having any mods installed, and shields were first introduced to the game in Minecraft 1.9. Okay, well, that is pretty weird. And our best guess at the moment is that this weird anomaly or entity is invisible but can interact with the world. Some time passed and his good friend called Speev396, who we will just call Speev, joins the server. But then, hold on, what? There's a bunch of cobwebs in my chest that I didn't get. That definitely is not normal and isn't a feature as they might think. Wither also finds a 1x2 hole under his house which had a skeleton in, and apparently he did not dig out that hole himself.
Why was there a skeleton in the corner of my house?
After we can see what most of the area looks like near the house, we can see this 2x2 dugout hole that is covered in diorite. Yes, you heard that correctly, diorite. Once again, there is a block that shouldn't exist in this version, just like the shield. And this will happen again in the future videos, so this is just the beginning. Anyways, this is the exact same cave that was also in episode 1. Now keep that in mind and just take a look at this chat between the two friends.
It grew? Strange.
Anyway, what about that weird diorite thing you made?
What? Diorite?
Speev then goes to show our player the dugout mine, and the following noise is what can be heard. Wither tries to explain that it grew since the last upload.
Isn't this natural? It grew.
No? What?
But then the video ends. But before we move on to the third episode, the creator of this channel actually commented something on the video, a binary code, that when translated we get this. a YouTube URL that leads us to a private video. The unlisted video is titled one word, key. It's 6 seconds long and only beeping can be heard. I downloaded the MP3 file of this video, imported the audio into a Morse code translator, and what came out is key decay. Well, the word decay means the process of something slowly breaking down. Could this potentially be referring to the fact that the diorite cave grew since the previous episode and it will soon become uncontrollable? We can't confirm that just yet, but spoiler alert, that might just be it, as the videos will progress later on. For now though, let's move on to video number 3. This upload starts out a bit different since you are now viewing the perspective of Spiv, who is Withers' friend. Once he walks towards the cave that appeared in our players' world, we can tell that it grew even more compared to the last video, episode 2. But Spiv doesn't think what his friend is saying is actually true. He thinks he's just being pranked.
I still think he's pranking me or something with this. Diorite doesn't just grow. It's a rock.
Soon later, we get this. A soul torch behind coal ores. Yes, this once again isn't supposed to be happening. It's beta 1.8.3, this item wasn't released till the next 9 years. But let's continue since we still got zero idea on why and how this is actually happening. After a mining session, Spiv decides to craft himself a diamond pickaxe, but for a few frames we can see an option for a diamond hoe, which once again isn't supposed to occur. Wither then goes silent for about a minute and leaves without saying a word. And soon after that, this happens. Players with unknown symbol usernames join the game, cause lag. Spiv is just as confused and terrified as we are. His messages don't show up in chat, he isn't able to interact with anything, and most importantly, he gets hit from thin air, as same as his friend Wither. Seconds after that, we get to take a look at this scene. A black figure standing and watching our player just beside their house. But Spiv does not realize that he is being stalked and decides to keep minding his own business. A short amount of time after, we can see 2 of the anonymous players leave the server. Still, our player doesn't seem to notice the unknown entity watching him until...
What is that?
Spiv dies to lag, the server times him out, and the video cuts to black. This episode wasn't like any other, there is so much to cover, yet we still don't know any explanation for them just yet. The main anomalies from this video were the following. Soul Torch should not exist, we leaving the game without even saying goodbye, and right after that, players with symbols joining, lagging the server and stalking our player. If we would take a guess on who even these symbol entities are, it would just be a shot in the dark. So my suggestion for now is to move on to the next recording while also keeping these anomalies in mind. Episode 4 offers us once again an interesting start to the video. Unsettling static can be heard and we can see that our player does not have any hearts or hunger bar, which means they are in creative. I'm also guessing that their skin is fully a black color, judging by their hand, like the unknown players with the symbols from the previous video. And I was correct, whoever this player is, they were and perhaps are stalking Spiv. After that strange footage ends, the video cuts back to normal. Wither also suggested in the comments that the beginning of the video might be corrupted. But even if it is, where did he get that footage from? As we see our player Wither come back up to the surface, we can see something really unsettling. His hand is the color black, just like the corrupted part of this video. Was he the one watching his friend? Or a better question, why did he even decide to put on a different skin? And another thing that caught my eye was the fact that his username ends with the numbers 456 instead of 345. What does this mean though? I don't really have an answer for this just right now, but remember this for the future. 3 minutes into the video, we can see Wither typing out random letters out of nowhere to himself. This was a Kaiser cipher. Kaiser cipher is where you shift each letter through the alphabet by a certain amount. So in this case, the letters were shifted back 3 times. For example, B shifted back 3 times gives us Y, then the next letter R gives us O, and so on. And the final sentence that came out in the end was "You will never get him back." Who won't get back who? And why? We still didn't have enough knowledge to solve this puzzle, so let's just move on. After a bit of chatting, Wither and Speeve decide to go on a mining trip when they stumble upon what looks like to be a mob spawner. But yet again there's something odd. The spawner block itself is just grey with dark blue spots on it.
What is this?
This is a dungeon, so
This isn't natural.
why isn't it a spawner?
Wither makes the decision of breaking it, but that is when regret comes in, because this is what happens shortly after. Okay, let's break down what even happened in the last few seconds. After the player breaks the unknown block, almost immediately random cursed and gibberish users join the game, where one even gives us a message that we have to decode. I spent almost an hour trying to figure out what this could even mean, and what I found was nothing. I couldn't find a solution, no decoding made it make any sense in any way. So that is when I decided to ask Wither myself in the comments, and a few hours later, this is the response I got. I don't know what it means either. I don't think it's all that important, so I didn't really care to decrypt it, but even if I did try, I don't know how I would. The message that Weird Anomaly sent might actually just be gibberish, not have a meaning. So I think we're now free to move on to episode 5. Video 5. It's Wither's POV again, and now the difference isn't only that he's playing in windowed mode. Remember when I told you that we are viewing Wither's point of view? Well, that isn't the case actually, because we get introduced to another player called QSC98, who I'm guessing is their friend. Speeve tells QSC about all the anomalies he had with Wither.
A bunch of weird symbol guys joined. You know what I mean if you watch the 3rd video on the channel.
And while QRC was running back to his friend for something, there we see it again. The black figure standing on top of the tree. And we know that it is one of those entities from the past because their username's length is at the minimum. We can also see that the diorite has spread even more, to the point that it even infected the dungeon from the previous video. It seems like this diorite for some reason is a virus, and it infects anything that gets in its way. Or more specifically, is decaying the world. Decay, the word we got from the private video on Wither's channel. That theory might actually be correct. The world might actually be slowly breaking down. Sweep logs off while QRC decides to stay in the world and keep watch on any sign of odd behavior. First, a lighting can be heard from above the surface. Then, randomly placed cobwebs catch the eye of QSC. After that, our player discovers once again a cave almost full of nothing but diorite and a few cobwebs. Lastly, right before the video ends, we get this frightening sound that definitely is not a vanilla Minecraft cave sound. Episode number 6. If we take a look at the comments, it may look like it doesn't have anything useful, but you would be wrong. A user that goes by the name of Ivory Healer suggested that the shield wasn't released in beta 1.8.3, which of course is true. But take a look at their responses. Beta 1.8 is the latest version we have right now. I don't know what 1.15 or 1.14 is. Are you fooling us? And are you a time traveler? Could this mean that these 3 friends aren't even in the year 2025? Are they behind time compared to the day they post these videos? Well, there isn't any explanation for this just yet, but this will be revealed in a future episode. Anyways, the video opens up with some good news. Wither got the game sounds to work, and he will be playing with both Speeve and QSC. He also told us that this episode is a crazy one, as the title says, something's wrong with our world. Not everything good lasts forever. Since 40 seconds into the video, we can already tell how big of a problem this diorite infection has become. It got to the point where it even generated these weird static blocks, a tunnel with iron bars, and even a hole that goes all the way down to the void. But even with all these in mind, the two friends decide to block clutch on the edge, and this is what they discover. Yet again, as they try to find an explanation behind all of why this is happening, we hear that demonic sound again and the static just like from the previous episodes. And remember when Withers' username had 456 instead of 345 as the numbers? As you can see, that's the case again. Whenever Wither wears this unknown dark skin, the last 3 digits of his username changes. Is it someone else playing on his account? But if so, then why? I'm most certain that this will be revealed in one of the upcoming videos, so stay tuned. The players go back to the X mark that QRC left in the last video, but now it's that unexplainable block again. So is this actually like a virus? Will it spread until it takes over the entire world? Well, sadly, I think so. Around the 10-minute mark, the whole diorite and static block has now reached the other side of the hill, even infecting a tree.
We've made so much progress on this world. But there's something very wrong with it.
This diorite and static block really is becoming a huge problem to their world, so if they wanna fix it, they better do it quick. But that was all the information we were able to gather from this video alone, so let's head on to the next one. In video 7, we are not only viewing QRC's perspective, but also the same day the previous video, episode 6, was recorded. Nothing really happened in this video besides just the 3 friends talking and having a discussion about what they should do with this world.
We shouldn't just abandon our world. Maybe it's just a corrupted file. We could try to ask the people in comments for a fix.
Give us your best ideas on how to get rid of these entity things.
QRC finished the 3rd outpost in a cave, and that was basically all. But the upcoming video, number 8, is about to change everything. This video has some of the most important informations that we need to know. Installing a new mod to fix our world, as the title suggests. We can tell by the description that Wither found this website that could potentially fix this issue. But now, if we look at the date he's recording on, it's November 9th, 2011. A date, yes. Remember when I said that they told us about the latest version being 1.8? This is it. They are actually in the past, and not in the current year, 2025. We are now 100% sure that the shield and soul torches should not even be possible to have in these versions of the game. But anyways, here's what Wither has to say.
Hey guys, this video is gonna be a little different today. I found a website with a bunch of Minecraft mods and one of them should fix the issues we've been having with our Minecraft. I'll try out the suggestions in the next video.
Our player downloaded the file while having the URL of the website blocked, saying, in case this is a malware. He then gets a pop-up and without any hesitation, Wither clicks yes. He sets up the .exe file called fixermod, and that is how the video ends. Video 9, experimenting with things. And before we take a look at the actual recording, the description offers a quite good amount of information for us. Any torch placed on a diorite block gets turned into a blue torch. Static is breakable, must be effects of the fixer mod. There are multiple sources for diorite spreading, and lastly, you can break into the diorite hallways. But now enough talking and let's start what the video is about. Almost immediately, our player finds crosses made out of the static block and as well blue torches that were replaced from the regular ones. Wither finishes doing the experiments he mentioned in the description, but then suddenly this happens. A half black, half red kind of figure appears from behind. Their username is just a symbol, and that is pretty much all we can tell, judging by how bad the video quality is. But maybe, just maybe, the next video might just explain what that might have been. Video 10 starts with Wither hiding in a 1x2 hole with nothing but a shield in his inventory, assuming this all happened from the previous episode. He comes back to the surface to see the virus becoming even worse.
That's a lot of hallways.
He then proceeds to test if the diorite block spreads or not. And it does, even when he is near it. Wither after that puts down a diorite block and a torch. After falling into the void and dying, those blocks now get converted into a static block and a soul torch. And then finally, Wither decides to see if it's possible to summon one of the symbol entities. He mined into one of those hallways, waited until...
There's one.
It chased him down and killed him. But wait, it's not over yet. These last few seconds of the video are pretty important and were covered by Wither. This is what he showed us. The first anomaly he came across had a cross symbol for his username. It has a red cross on his face and the rest of its body is black and red gradient. Wither also mentioned it crashed his game and could be a possible threat to his own computer. Now for the second entity, their user is just the letter X. It has a few amount of cross symbols on its skin and it is a yellow and white gradient color. Apparently, Wither mentioned the entity randomly gaining speed and instantly killing him. This episode covered quite a bit of our questions, like for example, what do these anomalies actually look like and do they have different abilities? But now it's time for video number 11. Episode number 10, Before. No description, no comments from the creator. We are viewing Wither's perspective and can see blocks we have never seen before. These blocks look like to have a red and black repeating cross pattern. While Wither was talking in chat about him thinking it's a prank, we can see his character move to the right. But this isn't normal and shouldn't be possible, since we know that whenever you use the chat in Minecraft, you aren't able to move in any direction. So our best guess for now is that something invisible caused him to move. Wither then decides to follow a maze, sort of hallway with redstone torches, still thinking it's just a prank from his friends.
I don't understand. When did you guys have the time to make this?
He then proceeds to fall in a pit, panicking and reading the signs that say, "You will never escape." And in the next few seconds, this text pops up in chat.
This isn't funny anymore.
You have become redundant.
You have become redundant. But wait, by who? Wither didn't say that, so it wasn't him. It is an anomaly that said that. If you take a closer look at the username of the one who sent it, it says Witherstorm456. The numbers got mixed up and it is trying to impersonate our player Wither. The anomaly then says goodbye. A text appears on screen noting he isn't 345 and the recording cuts to black. Now, what we learned about this video is that there is an entity that is trying to become Wither itself. The text at the end, he isn't 345, represents the last 3 digits of Wither's username, which means that the he isn't stands for the anomaly not being the real Wither and instead a fake one. Video 12 is another episode of experimenting, as the title says, experimenting with things part 3, except this time it's Spiv who's doing it. Soon after that, Spiv stumbles upon a chest with an enchanted bow, full diamond gear and a paper that has a dash and a black spade as its name. Then around the 3-minute mark, we see this. An entity with a heart symbol as their username, white and pink gradient skin and a heart on their face. He spams what looks like random letters in chat, but this was the moment I found the treasure on how to actually decrypt it. You see, there's a thing called Visionaire cipher with the keyword heart, the exact symbol that the entity is called, and this allows you to enter any sentence this entity has said to them and it comes out with it making sense. These are the messages the entity said.
Right, you can't understand us. This is an issue. I don't think I can speak your language. I understand it though. We specifically speak in ciphers to hide confidential info.
This heart entity decided to show Spiv and QRC those blocks that we saw in the previous episode where Wither was trapped. Then it speaks again.
It'll end eventually. It's all his fault for this.
and after that places down a sign with an arrow pointing to something.
We're the ones who posted the before video.
Did they want to do something and punish Wither for something that he's done?
The labyrinth 345 got trapped in is still here, and it's right there.
This entity might actually be trying to help and cooperate with his players, but this is when Spiv says he understands that number 345. He asks what does it even mean, and the entity plays his move smart and says 345, representing Wither, their friend. But even with all of this, Spiv still doesn't understand, and finally the entity says,
"Just keep this in mind for later, Spiv,"
and leaves the server. Minutes pass, they're trying to figure out what that arrow could mean, but then suddenly QRC dies and the spade user joins the game. And once Spiv walks out the door of the room, we can see that same player with the spade username walk towards Spiv before the video cuts to black. But after 30 seconds of a full black screen, we get to see Spiv slowly turning around to that same entity, and that is when the video actually ends. Okay, this episode had a lot to cover, so let's just break it down and make it simple what actually happened. First of all, the paper. Spiv found a chest with a paper inside that had a dash and a spade symbol. I'm most certain this meant that the loot inside the chest was sent by that spade entity. Next, the heart symbol entity's appearance. This entity isn't aggressive towards the players and is instead trying to help them. It can only talk in ciphers, it understands what the player says, but Spiv and QRC don't. Luckily, us, viewers, can decrypt it and understand every single word it says. This heart entity is trying to show the players where that maze is from the previous video where Wither got trapped in, but doesn't succeed and leaves. And finally, the last scene we get is Spiv and the black spade symbol entity. The next video is called Testing Out a Suggestion. And even a second into the video, we see Wither's name be Witherstorm456 and not Witherstorm345. But anyways, Wither is confused about what happened here, and later after QRC joins the server, he gets Stone Age. Not only the Stone Age, but even any kind of advancement didn't exist in this version, but this has been going on since the start of the series, so it's no big deal, I'm guessing. Next, Wither tells QRC that he will load up some other worlds of his, but before that even happens, we get this text on screen. This basic cipher translates to "he's still in there," guessing it represents Wither once again. Is Wither actually still trapped under that maze we saw? Is the person recording the video that same anomaly who has 456 in their username, and are they in full control of this channel? After he joins another world of his, we can still see that the virus remains. He finds a hallway and even a cross while the static noise can be heard. Wither dies with no reason and the screen says Safe 345. Very odd. Wither then joins back to his friend, and then this symbol joins the server as well, making him panic and even killing him with just one click. Seconds later, another cipher pops up on the screen, this time displaying "we're only doing what's best." And with that, the episode ends. Okay, so after analyzing this video, I think we might have a new theory. Wither being trapped while the anomaly is the one recording these videos. But we still don't know the reason why he is being held underground, so I say we move on to the next episode. Installing a new version of Minecraft. Wither apparently discovered the beta 1.8.4 version, but remember the whole beginning of this series?
He's playing in the beta version 1.8.3. But wait, hold on. There's not even a version that was ever released.
That's correct. Beta 1.8.3 doesn't exist, and this also applies for beta 1.8.4. What are all these versions that he and his friends are playing? Wither doesn't mind though and decides to download it, willing to see what this new version has to offer for him, while ending the video. Not much we can say about this minute-long video, so let's go and find out what truly this non-existent version is about. Except there is no new version or video. This was the last episode Wither has uploaded on his channel. He made it 2 weeks ago and I don't wanna wait any longer, so I can upload this ARG video faster, judging by my upload schedule. I will work on it, I promise. Just please subscribe. Unless this is the ending of the series, I'm looking forward to continuing it and uncovering the real truth behind on why all of this is actually happening. But for now though, see you in my next video.